Welcome back to Game Theories, where I introduce the theories of management, administration, and leadership. This is episode 37. Today, we'll explore leader member exchange. This theory explains leadership from a perspective of the two-way relationship between leaders and their followers, known as the dyadic relationship. The leader-member exchange was introduced in the mid-1970s to explain the relationships between leaders and their work group members. Initially known as the vertical dyad linkage model of leadership, the theory proposed that leaders form two distinct groups within their team, an in-group and an out-group. Some members become part of the leader's in-group, enjoying a high-quality relationship, while others belong to the out-group, experiencing a low-quality relationship. The quality of these relationships can influence the level of support, trust, and opportunities provided to each member. The quality of the exchange relationship between a leader and a member significantly influences the attitudes and behaviors of both individuals in the dyad. Leader-member exchange challenges traditional leadership perspectives, which assume that leaders treat all members similarly, applying the same set of rules, expectations, and communication methods to everyone on their team and offering equal attention, support, and opportunities for growth to each team member, regardless of their performance, potential, or unique circumstances. In the 1980s, researchers transitioned from the vertical dyad linkage model to leader-member exchange, with a specific focus on jobs and task domains. This shift led to the integration of previous theories like organizational citizenship behavior and perceived organizational support, solidifying leader-member exchange as a popular theory. Organizational citizenship behavior refers to voluntary, discretionary actions by employees that go beyond their formal job requirements and contribute to the overall functioning and well-being of the organization. It includes behaviors that are not explicitly rewarded or required, but are beneficial for the organization's success. Organizational citizenship behavior can include actions such as helping coworkers, showing initiative, participating in organizational activities, and engaging in behaviors that promote a positive work environment. These behaviors demonstrate a willingness to go above and beyond what is expected, contributing to the overall effectiveness and success of the organization. Perceived organizational support refers to employees' beliefs and perceptions regarding the extent to which their organization values their contributions, cares about their well-being, and supports their work-related needs. It is a subjective perception of the level of support and fairness received from the organization. Perceived organizational support is influenced by various organizational practices, policies, and interpersonal interactions, and it can significantly impact employees' attitudes, behaviors, and overall job satisfaction. The integration of leader-member exchange theory with the organizational citizenship behavior and perceived organizational support enhanced leader-member exchange's ability to explain job satisfaction and organizational commitment, boosting its popularity in administrative science. Leader-member exchange is initially rooted in role theory. Role theory suggests that within organizations, work is accomplished through negotiations and development of roles between leaders and new members. As this process unfolds, diverse interpersonal exchange relationships emerge between leaders and their team members. One key concept of leader-member exchange is that leaders don't establish the same kind of relationship with every follower. Instead, the quality of relationships can vary significantly among members of a leader's team. Early research referred to this phenomenon as the presence of an in-group and an out-group within the team. However, later scholars proposed a continuum of relationship quality spanning from low to high. To illustrate the concepts, let's consider an example. Imagine a manager, Joe, who leads a team of software developers. Within the team, Joe has formed close relationships with two team members, Emily and James. Joe trusts them, seeks their input on important decisions, and supports their career growth. This represents a high-quality social exchange characterized by mutual commitment and trust. In contrast, Joe has a more distant relationship with another team member, Sarah. They communicate less frequently, and Joe primarily focuses on assigning Sarah routine tasks without offering much guidance or developmental opportunities. This represents a low-quality economics exchange where the interactions are transactional and lack the same level of commitment and trust. A 2012 meta-analysis study characterized antecedents of leader-member exchange into three main groups: follower characteristics, leader characteristics, and interpersonal relationships. First, follower characteristics include followers' competence, agreeableness, conscientiousness, extroversion, locus of control, positive affectivity, and openness. They are positively associated with leader-member exchange. On the other hand, negative affectivity and neuroticism have a negative correlation with leader-member exchange. Negative affectivity means an individual's tendency to experience negative emotions such as anxiety, depression, and irritability. Neuroticism is a personality trait characterized by emotional instability, insecurity, and a tendency to experience negative emotions. Followers with these traits are prone to experience negative emotions, perceiving threats, or being overly self-conscious. Leaders may find it challenging to establish a strong connection or build mutual understanding with followers high in negative affectivity or neuroticism. The emotional instability or heightened negativity associated with these traits can create a strained or less favorable exchange dynamic. Leaders, on the other hand, are evaluated based on factors like their expectations of followers, contingent reward behavior, transformational leadership, extroversion, and agreeableness. Leaders have certain expectations of their followers, which can shape the leader-member exchange relationship. For example, if a leader has high expectations regarding the competence and performance of a follower, they may provide more guidance, support, and opportunities for growth to that individual. This can lead to a higher quality exchange relationship where the follower feels valued and supported. On the contrary, if a leader holds low expectations of a follower, they may be less invested in fostering a positive exchange relationship. This can result in limited communication, fewer opportunities, and lower levels of trust and support. Contingent reward behavior refers to a leader's tendency to provide rewards, recognition, and incentives contingent upon followers meeting specific performance expectations. Here is an example. A leader who consistently recognizes and rewards exceptional performance by their followers, such as providing bonuses, public praise, and opportunities for advancement, can strengthen the leader-member exchange relationship. The follower feels motivated, valued, and appreciated, leading to a higher quality exchange. Transformational leaders inspire and motivate their followers, fostering a sense of shared vision and personal growth. A leader who exhibits transformational leadership behaviors, such as providing intellectual stimulation, individualized support, and charisma can establish a strong leader-member exchange relationship. The followers feel inspired, encouraged, and empowered to achieve their full potential. Extroversion is a personality trait characterized by sociability, assertiveness, and outgoingness. An extroverted leader who is naturally sociable and outgoing may excel in building rapport and establishing connections with their followers. Their friendly and approachable demeanor can create an environment conducive to positive leader-member exchange relationships, fostering open communication and collaboration. Agreeableness refers to the degree of friendliness, cooperation, and empathy. A leader who demonstrates a high levels of agreeableness by being kind, supportive, and accommodating can foster positive relationships with their followers. Their approachability and willingness to listen and understand contribute to a trusting and cooperative leader-member exchange relationship. It's important to note that while leaders have a dominant role in establishing leader-member exchange relationships, followers also play a significant part in building these relationships. Interpersonal relationship variables such as perceived similarity, affect and liking, integration, self-promotion, assertiveness, and leader trust can influence the leader-member exchange relationship. When a follower perceives similarity in values, goals, and interests with the leader, it can facilitate a sense of connection and trust, fostering a positive exchange relationship. For example, if a team member and the leader shares a similar passion for innovation, it can enhance the rapport and collaboration. Positive emotions and personal liking between a leader and a follower can contribute to a more favorable exchange relationship. When there is a genuine liking and positive emotional connection, it can lead to higher levels of trust, cooperation, and support. Integration refers to the degree of inclusion and involvement of the follower in decision making and team activities. When a leader actively involves and integrates a follower into important tasks and discussions, it promotes a sense of importance, commitment, and satisfaction in the leader-member exchange relationship. Followers who assertively advocate for themselves, express their roles, and seek feedback from the leader can positively influence the leader-member exchange relationship. Their self-promotion and assertiveness demonstrate engagement and proactive involvement, enhancing the leader's perception of their value and potential. Trust is crucial in leader-member exchange relationships. When a leader demonstrates trust in a follower's abilities, decisions, and contributions, it fosters a positive exchange relationship. Trust promotes open communication, autonomy, and a sense of psychological safety. How does the leader-member exchange quality change over time? There are three major findings. First, it's been observed that the quality of exchange tends to be relatively consistent and stable over time. This suggests that once established, the nature of the exchange relationship between leaders and members tends to endure. Second, it's been found that the quality of exchange within a dyadic relationship is often perceivable by other members within a work group. In other words, team members tend to be aware of which individuals have high quality versus low quality exchange relationships with the leader. Third, an important insight is that leader-member exchange relationships are typically formed relatively quickly. Some studies suggest that the establishment of these relationships can occur within a matter of weeks after individuals begin working together. No theory is perfect. Leader-member exchange has faced criticisms for several reasons. First, It often relies on a circular argument, also known as circular reasoning. It's a logical fallacy in which the conclusion of an argument is included in the premises or presupposes the conclusion itself. It occurs when someone uses their claim or statement to support itself, without providing any new evidence or logical reasoning to validate the initial claim. In a circular argument, the reasoning goes in a circle, where the conclusion is assumed or restated in different words without offering any additional support or evidence. It can create an illusion of validity, but it does not provide any meaningful or logical explanation. In the context of leader-member exchange, this can be observed in the way it defines good leadership as having good relationships, then suggests that good relationships are caused by good leadership, without offering a clear explanation for how these good relationships are achieved. An example illustrates this circular argument could be good leaders establish strong relationships with their followers. Why are they considered good leaders? Because they have strong relationships. How do they establish strong relationships? By being good leaders. As we can see, the circular argument does not provide a clear explanation of what specific actions or behaviors contribute to the development of strong relationships. It assumes that good relationships are solely a result of being a good leader, without elaborating on the specific strategies or behaviors that make a leader effective in building those relationships. Another issue is that much of the research treats leader-member exchange as an independent or moderator variable. When researchers do so, it means that they are examining it as a factor that influences or modifies other variables within a causal model. However, this approach violates the assumption of exogeneity, which assumes that the independent variable is unaffected by other variables in the model. Suppose you're studying the impact of leader-member exchange on employee job satisfaction. You treat leader-member exchange as an independent variable, assuming that it directly influences job satisfaction. However, by treating leader-member exchange as an independent variable, you overlook the fact that leader-member exchange itself may be influenced by other factors, such as employee performance. This violation of the assumption of exogeneity leads to an endogeneity problem. In this example, if an employee has high job satisfaction, they may also perceive their relationship with the leader-member exchange more positively. On the other hand, if an employee has low job satisfaction, they may perceive their leader-member exchange relationship more negatively. Therefore, the direction of the influence becomes blurred, making it difficult to establish a clear causal relationship between leader-member exchange and job satisfaction. To address this issue, you should consider the reciprocal nature of the relationship and the potential bidirectional influences. You can use methods such as longitudinal designs or structural equation modeling to explore the dynamic interplay between leader-member exchange and other variables, avoiding the violation of the assumption of exogeneity. The third criticism is a limited discussion of leader behaviors in leader-member exchange research. It primarily focuses on describing how people relate to and interact with each other, rather than offering prescriptive guidance on forming high-quality leader-member exchange relationships. The general advice given to the leaders is to demonstrate trust, respect, openness, autonomy, and discretion, but it lacks specific, actionable strategies. Considering these shortcomings, some researchers have suggested that it's necessary to reevaluate and start afresh with this area of leadership research, A comprehensive review highlights the need for a more robust theoretical foundation and a deeper exploration of leader behaviors that can effectively promote relationship building. Thanks for watching this video of leader-member exchange. If you are interested in learning more about theories of management, administration, and leadership, be sure to tune in into my future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you want to know more about how to build a theoretical framework for your research, check out my book titled Demystify Theories, a workbook for developing theoretical frameworks of educational leadership research. The link of the book is in the description below.